latest update on Cyclone Uesi, which has intensified significantly in the last 24 hours, just shy of hurricane force at 70 mile per hour winds. It's 17.5 degrees south, 162.3 degrees east late this evening local time. 11 p.m. at Noumea right now, and it is heading south with a pressure of 984 millibars. CDPS Stage 2, that's gone down because the storm is no longer expected to make landfall on New Caledonia, but is now likely to give it a glancing blow as it passes to the west. So the CDPS scale looks at Hainan, which is just off the northern tip of the main island of New Caledonia. This February the 11th, it's expected to make the closest pass. Stage 2 there, and I think rainfall is probably going to be the biggest threat by this point, which it could reach 6 inches, 150 millimeters. Here it is right now then, that wind field, which will also be a threat, of course. Tropical storm force winds will probably be widespread on New Caledonia. And there are the distances in miles right now: 165 miles from Hainan, around 300 kilometers. Poem 221 there, and Port Vila 392 moving away. Noumea 422 miles, that's still some distance away, around 650 kilometers there. Interestingly, the ADT from SSEC going with high-end category 1, I don't think that's the case. Everyone else going really with around 65-70 mile per hour winds. Fiji slightly lower there at 65. And this is the expectation over the next few days. Still fairly low confidence in this forecast cone, but you can see there that it will intensify further to reach hurricane status, and possibly maintain it for a good 2 or 3 days as it drifts south towards the coast of Australia, where it will pass uncomfortably close quite possibly, but it does appear that it will miss the east coast of Australia and avoid giving Sydney its first tropical cyclone impact pretty much ever. Well, this is what the GFS model is actually saying then. Looking at the precipitable water view here, you can see the energy core of this storm, and that will influence the weather in eastern Australia, but you can see it there gliding towards the south, and then playing chicken with New Zealand there as well. 1 or 2 model runs from yesterday did have it making landfall in New Zealand, borderline tropical at that as well on the South Island, but you can see that latest there from the GFS, it's not fancying that anymore, and a few other models also taking it fairly close, but not close enough to have the central core pass over land. Sea surface temperatures remain fairly warm there, 81, 82 degrees Fahrenheit, that's 28 Celsius, certainly warm enough for sustained cyclone development for the next 2 days before those sea surface temperatures start dropping off. So you can see there the yellows, that's hurricane force winds on the GFS model there, has a first peak and then possibly a secondary peak there as well, still tropical by that point, and then continuing towards the south, then southeast, at some point there turning post-tropical, but remaining a rather large system, broad and powerful, and possibly delivering significant storm force winds to New Zealand. HWRF backing off that category 3 forecast it had yesterday, still going at high-end category 2, the other models still quite a bit lower. Wind shear though will be rising substantially through 40 knots by the time we get to Wednesday. Sea surface temperatures starting to decline by the time we get to Wednesday as well. That's when the storm accelerates towards the south, and so everything really goes against it by the time we get to that point. So it'll be interesting to see just what happens there and whether we see that post-tropical transition earlier than what the GFS seems to be saying. Couldn't quite tell whether it was tropical or not there, but it did appear to be on that wind profile. So here is the storm right now on the satellite imagery. We've seen rumblings of an eye in the last 12 to 24 hours, but at the moment not looking so hot, and I think that wind estimate of around 70 mile per hour winds, 110 kilometers per hour, is sufficient as we continue to monitor this storm. Check out our new look cyclone tracker on the Force 13 website for the latest up-to-date information. You can also find us, of course, on our YouTube channel, search Force 13, and also on Facebook and Twitter, Force 13 at Force 13 on Twitter for the latest updates. You can also help the project become even better by becoming an Ultimate Fan on YouTube. To see the full list of Ultimate Fan benefits and to join, visit youtube.com/Force13/join. with a special thanks to our top supporters this month. You can also check out our growing merch store so you can show Force 13's colours wherever you go. You can also find a link to our Discord server underneath this video in the description.